It's about the view. It's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. It's like it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. How can you now speak the truth when for years you've been telling lie after lie after lie? Now you're carrying this big bag of rocks around you because it's too harmful for their ego to admit that we really were dishonest. And they could be honest. All they would have to say is, look, we hate Trump so much. We were willing to lie about Joe Biden because we felt he was preferable. We thought our lying and our cover-up was on your behalf. Just say that. You're still scum, but at least you're an honest scum.
Before the debate was even over, Whoopi Goldberg found herself on the receiving end of some sharp jokes from Gutfeld and Timpf. What started as another heated exchange quickly turned into a moment that had everyone talking. 1 minute, Whoopi sounded confident while defending The View. Next, she seemed frustrated as the conversation slipped away from her. So what did Gutfeld and Kat say that sparked such a strong reaction? Stick around, because this exchange has everyone weighing in.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Well, not if you're Whoopi Goldberg, a.k.a. Karen Johnson. Yeah, who knew Whoopi was a Karen? I thought that was only for white people, like Toyota Priuses and...
Whoopi Goldberg has worn a lot of hats over the years. She's a comedian, an award-winning actress, a longtime daytime TV host, and someone who never hesitates to share her opinions. For years, she sat at The View's famous table with plenty of confidence, offering strong takes on politics, culture, and current events. But critics often argued that she speaks with complete certainty, even when the facts are open to debate, and that confidence has made her one of the most talked about voices on daytime television.
It's so cute when one of their side gets punished. They sulk like they ran out of raw cookie dough in the green room. Yeah, ABC suspended Whoopi for 2 weeks because she said the Holocaust had nothing to do with race. She said this on a show called The View, which makes everything about race. Except now.
Things took a different turn when Gutfeld and Timpf pushed back with a mix of humor and sharp criticism that quickly changed the mood. At first, it looked like a typical episode of The View. The passionate reactions, animated gestures, and confident opinions were all there, with Whoopi leading the discussion the way viewers have come to expect. She spoke with the same strong conviction that has defined her on-air style for years, delivering her points with the confidence of someone who believes she had the upper hand.
Kat, did you ever see such a group? It's amazing how Joy and Whoopi became the smart ones.
For me, the most shocking thing about the conversation was how truly boring it was. They're like, well, the cicadas, they're cicadas. Okay, but it was like every 100 years. No, it's every 17 years. Do you know how many Emmys this show has? 31.
31 Emmys?
This show has 31. I mean, I'd hate to see the conversations that don't make headlines. What?
And we don't have a single
Not a
Emmy.
single
we don't
one.
Have what does that tell you about the Emmys, Kat? Yes, thank you, Mr. Boo.
Everything seemed to be going exactly as expected before Greg stepped in and challenged the conversation. He didn't come in shouting or trying to steal the spotlight. Instead, he relied on something much more effective: quick wit, pointed observations, and the ability to stay calm while making his case. It was like watching someone casually flip burgers at a backyard cookout while explaining, with a smile, why an emotional on-air rant made less sense than the plot of a cheesy movie about Congress.
No, it's not about race.
Ethnicity.
It's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
Yeah, that's heroically stupid. Even for The View. What did she think Hitler meant when he said master race? The 100-meter dash at the Berlin Olympics? So for the first time in The View's history, it's not about race. Just some whites exterminating 6 million other whites. So what's the big deal?
Gutfeld didn't rely on shouting or over-the-top drama. Instead, he used calm humor and sharp observations to question Whoopi's consistency. He pointed to what he saw as contradictions between her passionate speeches and some of her past positions, letting the audience connect the dots for themselves. He also argued that The View often feels less like a place for open debate and more like a stage where one point of view gets the loudest applause. Rather than making it personal, Gutfeld focused on what he viewed as a broader problem in media, suggesting it's easy for well-known celebrities with large platforms and loyal audiences to speak with certainty while facing very little pushback.
I just want to hit myself in the face so I can feel something. You know, it's like so boring. He's like, yeah, I like Instacart, but don't worry, I tip the poors. But, you know, Joy, you actually don't like Instacart and you do like the store. And then Joy is like, yeah, I do. I like to go to the store. I like to walk around and see what's at the store, what I do want, what I don't want. Maybe I want tuna fish and I just want to hit my...
Gutfeld didn't just poke fun at Whoopi, he questioned the idea that she speaks for everyday people, arguing that audiences can tell when someone comes across as out of touch. Kat backed him up with her own style of humor. With quick sarcasm and a sharp sense of timing, she didn't treat Whoopi's comments as untouchable. Instead, Kat leaned into the comedy, suggesting the debate had become more about self-importance than substance. She mocked the image of Whoopi as the unquestioned moral voice on every issue, using jokes to highlight what she saw as an exaggerated sense of authority. Rather than getting into a long philosophical debate, Kat let her humor do the work, turning the moment into one of the biggest laughs of the exchange.
Ah, you look tantalizing. You know, I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Because COVID also taught Sunny Hostin how to get her groceries delivered.
3 years, that's when I discovered Instacart, and I give them a big tip because they don't always pay their people well, and it's so that's been an issue, I think, for the company. But man, you can get toiletries, you can get fire logs.
Fire logs? She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insufferable.
Kat Timpf picked apart Whoopi's public image with the same calm confidence she brings to every debate. Using quick jokes instead of long speeches, she pointed out how unusual it is for someone with one of the biggest platforms on daytime television to keep claiming they're being silenced. She argued that Whoopi often switches between presenting herself as an outsider and speaking as part of the establishment whenever it fits the moment. One minute she's quoting history and speaking with complete authority, and the next she's acting as though criticism online is proof of unfair treatment. Kat's sarcasm made that contrast impossible to ignore, joking that it's hard to sell a story about persecution while enjoying the perks of a successful TV career. She never needed to attack Whoopi personally. Instead, she challenged the image Whoopi has built over the years and let the audience decide whether it still matched reality. That was what made the exchange stand out. It wasn't about loud arguments or dramatic confrontations. Gutfeld and Kat stayed calm, relied on humor, and questioned the ideas instead of raising their voices, leaving viewers to judge which side made the stronger case.
Kat, how many co-hosts has The View had since it first started? I've lost count. I don't know any of these people.
No, that's because they don't stick around long enough. There have been 17 since 1997. That's a lot. That's because they're women.
Oh, really?
Their hormones, they're changing their minds. I don't want to work here. Yes, I do. That's why. Women are always changing jobs every day.
Wow,
I just quit.
Direct the mail to Catherine Timpf. Not me. I disavow everything she just said.
The loudest part of the exchange wasn't anyone raising their voice. It was how calm Gutfeld and Kat Timpf stayed throughout it. Together, they delivered a 1-2 combination of humor and criticism. Gutfeld focused on what he saw as the weak points in Whoopi's arguments, while Kat used sharp jokes to question the image and confidence behind them. There was no shouting or personal attacks, just steady pushback mixed with comedy. That's a big reason the clip spread so quickly online. Many viewers weren't just laughing, they were talking about the points being made. For some, the discussion highlighted what they saw as a familiar pattern of emotional speeches, predictable talking points, and enthusiastic applause. It also led some people to question whether the show encourages real debate or simply reinforces the same opinions. Online reactions poured in, not because Whoopi was criticized, but because many felt someone had challenged her arguments without losing their cool. To those viewers, that was the real turning point. It wasn't a dramatic meltdown, but a quieter moment where a carefully built public image faced tougher scrutiny, leaving audiences to decide for themselves whether the criticism was fair.
Their brains are small. But who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sunny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now, The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass doesn't shatter.
There was no dramatic comeback, no emotional speech, and no big moment that changed the conversation. Instead, there was silence, and for many viewers, that silence said more than any applause ever could. Once confidence starts to crack, it's hard to rebuild it overnight. Supporters of Gutfeld and Timpf argued that they didn't bring Whoopi down on their own. They simply challenged her arguments and let the audience decide what to think. To them, the moment wasn't about politics or ratings. It was about holding a public figure accountable. Rather than making Whoopi herself the target, they questioned the image of someone being treated as beyond criticism simply because they speak with confidence. Gutfeld used calm reasoning and a touch of sarcasm, while Kat added quick humor and sharp observations. Together, they focused on the ideas instead of shouting over them, creating an exchange that many viewers found more memorable than another loud television argument.
Step it up a little bit.
I was so shocked that she answered that way. That she said there's nothing she'd do differently. And then in case there's any questions, for her to say, by the way, I was involved in all of it.
Yeah.
But then you're running as the opposition. That would have been so easy to just say, there's so much I could change and I can't wait to change. It's not like they're going to ask you, what would you do?
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're actually going to be pressed on specifics in that interview. I mean, the way that Whoopi was looking at her.
Yeah. Oh, man. That was sexual.
That was it was very Hallmark Christmas Channel.
Yes.
Next up was Timpf. With her dry, sarcastic style, she didn't need to raise her voice to make her point. If Gutfeld challenged the main argument, Kat piled on with quick jokes that questioned the confidence behind it. When Joy Behar said, "I did some research," Kat treated it less like the end of a debate and more like the start of a fact check. There were no dramatic speeches, no shouting, and no over-the-top reactions. Instead, the criticism came through calm observations and well-timed humor. That contrast caught people's attention. Clips from the exchange quickly spread across social media, with users sharing jokes, memes, and short reactions. On X, Instagram, and TikTok, viewers replayed the funniest moments and added their own commentary. Many comments questioned whether The View was having a real discussion or simply repeating familiar talking points. To supporters of Gutfeld and Kat, the exchange felt like a rare moment where confidence was challenged with humor instead of louder arguments, and that's what kept people talking long after the show ended.
Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City. But thanks to liberal privilege, Whoopi hangs on, which is fine since she apologized, but not before digging an even deeper hole than the one.
To many viewers, the exchange became about more than just another television argument. They felt the criticism wasn't aimed at Whoopi as a person, but at the confidence and certainty behind the opinions he presented. Gutfeld and Timpf didn't rely on shouting or dramatic moments. Instead, they used humor, calm reasoning, and pointed observations to challenge ideas they disagreed with. That approach led some people to question whether a long career in television automatically gives someone's opinions more weight. Others saw it as a reminder that popularity and confidence don't always equal credibility. Rather than becoming another loud culture war moment, the discussion turned into a debate about accountability and whether public figures should expect their views to be questioned just like anyone else. For supporters of Gutfeld and Kat, the lasting impression wasn't a dramatic confrontation or an emotional meltdown. It was the fact that they stayed composed, leaned on humor instead of anger, and left the audience to decide which arguments held up best. In the end, that was the moment many people kept talking about long after the camera stopped rolling.